Hey everyone, and welcome back to Astrology Prediction English Podcast. I'm Vincent,
And I'm Jenny.
and we are so excited to dive into this week's cosmic weather with you.
Yes, we are. It is December 9th through the 15th. A busy week, folks.
It is a busy week.
With all those holiday gatherings coming up and career ambitions, maybe even a little romance sprinkled in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get right into it. We've got a lot of signs to cover. What are some of the major planetary influences we should be aware of this week?
Well, Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, is definitely making its presence known this week. We'll see it prompting some deep changes and shakeups in various areas of life, depending on your sign. And then there's Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, continuing its journey through certain signs, bringing opportunities for growth and abundance.
Okay, so transformation and expansion sounds like a potent combination.
It is.
Let's start with our fiery Aries friends. What's the forecast for them this week?
Aries, get ready to be the social butterfly of the zodiac. Jupiter is activating your communication zone this week, making you extra chatty and engaging.
Ooh, I like that.
You'll be drawn to connect with friends old and new, and your conversations could spark some unexpected opportunities.
That sounds like a great time for those holiday parties, right? Any chance of romance for our Aries listeners?
With Pluto in their friendship sector, deep connections with friends are also highlighted this week. But yes, romance is definitely in the air. On Thursday, Venus and Mars are teaming up in a way that boosts Aries' charisma, making them absolutely magnetic.
Wow, magnetic Aries at a holiday party. That sounds like a recipe for some serious sparks.
Yeah.
But is there anything Aries should watch out for with all this intense energy?
That's a great question. With all this social energy, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement, Aries.
Yeah.
Be mindful of overcommitting yourself or getting caught up in gossip. Stay grounded and remember to prioritize your own well-being amidst the holiday hustle and bustle.
Solid advice. Now let's move on to our grounded Taurus friends. What did stars have in store for them this week?
For Taurus, this week is all about career ambitions and smart financial moves. Pluto in their career sector is prompting a major transformation, pushing them to step into a leadership role or embrace a new path altogether.
That sounds intense. Does that mean they'll be working around the clock, missing out on all the holiday fun?
Not necessarily. Jupiter is sending supportive vibes to their financial zone, making it a great time for increasing income or attracting a lucrative opportunity. Taurus has a knack for making wise financial decisions, and this week that intuition will be amplified.
So they could actually see some real rewards for their hard work, maybe even some extra holiday cash.
Exactly. It's all about making smart choices and trusting their gut. But with Pluto's transformative energy, Taurus needs to be ready to let go of old ways of working that no longer serve them.
Okay.
This might mean leaving a comfortable but stagnant job or taking a calculated risk that leads to a more fulfilling career path.
That's a great reminder for Taurus to embrace change and step outside their comfort zone. What about our ever-curious Geminis? What kind of adventures are in store for them this week?
Gemini, get ready for a week of expansion and exploration. Lucky Jupiter is still gracing your sign, bringing a sense of optimism and adventure. You'll be drawn to new experiences, whether it's learning a new skill, traveling to a new place, or simply having deep philosophical conversations that broaden your horizons.
I can already picture our Gemini listeners booking those last-minute holiday trips or signing up for that pottery class they've been eyeing.
I love it.
But Jupiter can also bring excess, right? What should Geminis be conscious of this week?
That's right. With Jupiter, it's easy to go overboard.
Yeah.
Be mindful of overspending or taking on too much at once. Pace yourself and make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin. Remember quality over quantity.
Good point. Now let's talk about our sensitive Cancer friends. What kind of emotional landscape are they navigating this week?
Cancer, prepare for a week of deep emotional connection. Pluto's intense energy is focused on your intimacy zone, pushing you to connect with loved ones on a soul level.
Okay.
This could involve heartfelt conversations, vulnerable sharing, or simply creating a cozy and intimate atmosphere at home for the holidays.
That sounds lovely, especially during this time of year. But Pluto can also bring up some shadows, right? Is there anything Cancer should be aware of as they navigate these intense emotions?
Yes, Pluto can definitely dredge up some deep-seated issues. Be prepared for some old wounds to surface or for past hurts to resurface in your relationships. Don't be afraid to seek support from a therapist or trusted friend if you need help processing these emotions.
Yeah.
Remember, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness.
That's great advice. Now, what about our radiant Leos? What's shining down on them this week?
Leo, get ready to shine even brighter this week. Pluto's transformative energy is influencing your partnership sector. prompting you to reassess your relationships and let go of anything that's no longer serving you. This could involve deepening an existing connection, having a heart-to-heart with a loved one, or even walking away from a relationship that's run its course.
So it's a time for Leos to really focus on what they want in their relationships. Any chance for new romance to blossom?
Absolutely. With Jupiter boosting your social life, you'll be the life of the party, attracting admirers with your warmth and charisma. And on Thursday, Venus and Mars are aligning in a way that makes you simply irresistible. You'll
Wow.
be radiating confidence and magnetism, so don't be surprised if someone special is drawn to your light.
Leo, Thursday night sounds like your night to shine. But is there anything they should be mindful of with all this attention and energy?
Leo, remember to stay grounded and true to yourself amidst all the attention. Don't let ego or pride get in the way of genuine connection. And be mindful of overspending or overindulging, as Jupiter's expansive energy can sometimes lead to excess.
Okay, that's some great advice for Leo. Now let's move on to our meticulous Virgos. What does this week hold for them?
Virgo this week is all about prioritizing your well-being and embracing new opportunities. Pluto's transformative energy is in your health and work sector, prompting you to reassess your daily routines and make changes that support your physical and mental health.
So this is a time for Virgos to really focus on self-care. Are there any specific areas they should pay attention to?
Yes, listen to your body's signals, Virgo. If you've been feeling burned out or neglecting your health, this is the week to slow down, prioritize rest, and make those lifestyle changes you've been putting off. It's also a great time to reassess your work-life balance and set boundaries that protect your time and energy.
That's a great reminder for Virgo, especially during the holiday season, which can be so busy and demanding. But we can't forget about Jupiter, right? What opportunities is it bringing for Virgo this week?
Right, Jupiter is expanding your career sector, bringing opportunities for growth recognition and even a potential promotion or new job offer. Virgo, this is the time to showcase your talents network with influential people and take those calculated risks that can lead to a more fulfilling and rewarding career path.
Wow, so Virgo has a chance to end the year on a high note, both personally and professionally. But is there anything they should watch out for with all this change and opportunity?
Virgo, remember that change can be challenging even when it's positive. Be patient with yourself, embrace the unknown, and don't be afraid to ask for support from those you trust. And with Jupiter's influence, be mindful of overworking or becoming overly critical of yourself. Remember to celebrate your accomplishments and enjoy the journey.
That's great advice for Virgo.
It is.
Now let's move on to our harmonious Libra friends. What's on the cosmic agenda for them this week?
Libra this week is all about embracing your creative potential and connecting with your deepest desires. Pluto is activating your zone of self-expression, prompting you to tap into your artistic side, whether it's through writing music art or simply expressing yourself more authentically in your everyday life.
So it's a time for Libras to let their creativity flow freely. Are there any specific ways they can tap into this energy?
Yes, this is a great time for Libras to start a new creative project. Take a class or simply spend time journaling, brainstorming, and exploring what truly inspires them. Don't be afraid to experiment and let your imagination run wild. This is also a wonderful week to connect with other creative people, attend art events, or simply surround yourself with beauty and inspiration.
That sounds like a fun and fulfilling week for Libra. But Pluto can also bring up some challenges, right? Is there anything Libra should be mindful of as they navigate this creative energy?
Yes, Pluto can sometimes bring up feelings of self-doubt or insecurity, Libra.
Okay.
Remember to be gentle with yourself and don't judge your creative process too harshly. This is a time for exploration and discovery, not perfection. Also, with Pluto's influence, you might find yourself drawn to delve into deeper emotional territory. Don't be afraid to explore those depths, but remember to balance your inner world with the beauty and joy of your outer life.
Okay. That's great advice for Libra. Now let's move on to our passionate Scorpio friends. What does this week hold for them?
Scorpios, get ready for a week of deep connection and transformative experiences. Jupiter is blessing your zone of intimacy, making this a wonderful time to nurture your closest relationships and create a sense of warmth and closeness with loved ones.
That sounds perfect for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Are there any specific ways Scorpios can make the most of this energy?
Yes, this is a great time for Scorpios to plan intimate gatherings with friends and family, have those heart-to-heart conversations they've been putting off, or simply spend quality time with those they love most. Creating a cozy and inviting atmosphere at home is also favored.
So it's all about creating that sense of emotional closeness and security. But with Pluto's influence, there's always a chance for some intensity, right? What should Scorpios be aware of as they navigate these deep emotions?
You're right. Pluto's energy can sometimes bring up jealousy, possessiveness, or a need for control in relationships. Scorpios, be mindful of these tendencies and communicate openly and honestly with your loved ones. Remember, trust and vulnerability are the keys to creating truly fulfilling connections.
Solid advice for Scorpio. Now let's move on to our adventurous Sagittarius friends. What does this week have in store for them?
Sagittarius, get ready for a week of fun, freedom, and expansion. With Pluto in your communication sector, you'll be feeling extra expressive and eager to share your thoughts and ideas with the world.
So it's a time for Sagittarius to speak their truth and let their voice be heard. What kind of opportunities might this bring?
Yes, you might find yourself drawn to writing, public speaking, or simply having those deep philosophical conversations that you love so much. This is also a great week to connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds, as you'll be eager to expand your horizons and learn from new perspectives.
That sounds like a great way for Sagittarius to embrace the holiday season with a sense of adventure and open-mindedness. But Pluto can also bring up some challenges, right? What should Sagittarius be aware of as they navigate this expressive energy?
You're right. Pluto can sometimes bring up a tendency to be overly blunt or opinionated,
Yeah.
Sagittarius. Remember to be mindful of your words and make sure you're communicating in a way that is both authentic and respectful. This is also a week to be mindful of overspending or taking on too much, as Jupiter's expansive energy can sometimes lead to excess.
Okay, that's some solid advice for Sagittarius. Now let's move on to our ambitious Capricorn friends. What's on their cosmic agenda this week?
Capricorn, get ready for a week of power moves and financial breakthroughs. Pluto's transformative energy is in your financial zone, prompting you to reassess your relationship with money, release any limiting beliefs about abundance, and step into your power as a manifester.
So it's a time for Capricorns to really level up their financial game. What kind of opportunities might present themselves?
Yes, this is a great week for Capricorns to renegotiate a salary, invest in a promising venture, or simply develop a more empowered mindset around money. With Jupiter's supportive energy, you have the potential to attract abundance and create a more secure financial future.
That sounds like a great way for Capricorn to end the year on a high note. But Pluto can also bring up some challenges, right? What could Capricorns be aware of as they navigate these financial shifts?
You're right. Pluto can sometimes bring up fears around lack or scarcity. Capricorn,
Okay.
be mindful of these fears and don't let them hold you back from pursuing your financial goals. This is also a week to be mindful of workaholism or becoming overly attached to material possessions. Remember that true wealth comes from within, and that it's important to find a balance between work and play.
Okay, that's some solid advice for Capricorn. Now let's move on to our innovative Aquarius friends. What does this week hold for them?
Aquarius, get ready for a week of personal transformation and exciting new beginnings. Pluto is entering your sign this week, marking a major turning point in your life.
Wow, that sounds like a big deal. What kind of changes can Aquarius expect from Pluto's transit?
Over the next 20 years, Pluto will be working its magic in your sign,
Oh, wow.
prompting you to shed old layers of yourself and embrace a more authentic and empowered version of who you truly are. This week, you might start to feel those shifts happening as you become more aware of your deepest desires, your unique talents, and your purpose in the world.
So it's a time of profound self-discovery for Aquarius. Are there any specific ways they can embrace this transformative energy?
Yes, this is a great time for Aquarius to start a new chapter in their life. It might involve pursuing a new passion, making a bold career move, or simply taking time for introspection and self-reflection. This is also a wonderful week to connect with like-minded people, as you'll be drawn to those who share your values and vision for the future.
That sounds like an exciting and empowering week for Aquarius.
Wow.
But Pluto can also bring up some challenges, right? What should Aquarius be aware of as they navigate this intense energy?
You're right. Pluto can sometimes bring up power struggles or a need to control Aquarius. Be mindful of these tendencies and remember that true power comes from within. This is also a week to be mindful of becoming overly isolated or detached. Remember to stay connected to your loved ones and allow yourself to be vulnerable and authentic in your relationships.
Okay, that's some great advice for Aquarius. Now let's move on to our dreamy Pisces friends. What's on their cosmic agenda this week?
Pisces, get ready for a week of peace, tranquility, and spiritual growth. Jupiter's benevolent energy is gracing your home and family sector, making this a wonderful time to create a sanctuary of peace and harmony in your personal life.
So it's a time for Pisces to focus on their home and loved ones. Are there any specific ways they can make the most of this energy?
Yes, this is a great time for Pisces to decorate their home for the holidays, host gatherings with loved ones, or simply spend time relaxing and recharging in their own peaceful space. Nurturing your emotional well-being and connecting with your spiritual side are also favored this week.
That sounds like a lovely and restorative week for Pisces.
Yeah.
But with Pluto's influence, there's always a chance for some intensity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What should Pisces be aware of as they navigate this peaceful energy?
You're right. Pluto can sometimes bring up a tendency towards escapism or avoidance, Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of these tendencies and make sure you're not withdrawing from the world or neglecting your responsibilities. This is also a week to be mindful of becoming overly sensitive or taking on other people's emotions. Remember to set healthy boundaries and prioritize your own well-being.
Okay. That's some great advice for Pisces.
Hmm.
Well, it looks like we've covered all 12 signs in this first part of our deep dive.
We've explored a lot of cosmic energy already.
Indeed. But stay tuned, listeners. In part 2, we'll be taking an even deeper dive into each sign's weekly forecast, exploring specific opportunities, challenges, and insights that will help you navigate this exciting week ahead.
We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back, stargazers. Ready for round 2 of our weekly horoscope deep dive.
Absolutely. In part 1, we got a broad overview of each sign's cosmic weather. But now let's zero in on some specific areas where these planetary energies might play out.
Sounds good to me. Let's start with Aries again. Remember, it's a super social week for them. But that Jupiter in their communication zone isn't just about parties. It's also about how they express themselves.
So they're not just the life of the party, but they're also saying things that make an impact. What kind of impact are we talking about here?
Think of it this way. Aries usually jumps into action, right? This week, their words are the action. They might pitch a bold idea at work, have a heart-to-heart that clears the air with a friend, or even charm their way into a new opportunity simply by how persuasively they speak.
Okay, so their communication has real power this week. But with that, Pluto in their friendship sector, are all these conversations going smoothly? Or is there potential for conflict?
That's where Aries needs to be mindful. Pluto brings intensity. So while some friendships will deepen, others might be tested. This is a time for honest, sometimes difficult conversations. Aries needs to decide which bonds are worth the work and which ones might need to be released.
Deep stuff. All right, moving on to Taurus. We talked about their career ambitions in part 1, but let's get practical. What kinds of actions might a Taurus be inspired to take under this Pluto influence?
Imagine a Taurus who's felt stuck in their job. This week, they might suddenly update their resume, apply for that dream position they thought was out of reach, or even have a frank conversation with their boss about wanting more responsibility.
So it's not just thinking about change, but actually taking concrete steps. That sounds very un-Taurus-like.
In a good way.
But with Jupiter in their money zone, is there a risk of them overspending to achieve those goals?
There's always that risk with Jupiter. It's about expansion, which can mean income, yes, but also spending habits. Taurus needs to be discerning. Is that expensive course really going to boost their career, or are they just getting caught up in the excitement?
Great point. It's about making sure their ambition is aligned with their values. Now on to Gemini. We talked about their thirst for knowledge. But where might this lead them specifically this week?
Imagine a Gemini at a holiday gathering overhearing someone talking about a topic they know nothing about. Suddenly they're hooked. This week they're sponges for new info, diving into books, documentaries, even eavesdropping on interesting conversations to expand their understanding.
So they're not just passively learning, but actively seeking out knowledge in unexpected places. But could the scattered approach backfire? They're already known for flitting from one thing to the next.
That's the balance Gemini needs to strike. Jupiter's energy is great for exploration, but it can also lead to overwhelm. They might start a dozen projects and finish none. This week it's about picking one area of interest to really focus on, rather than being a jack-of-all-trades, master of none.
Okay, focus is key for Gemini this week.
Now,
On to Cancer. We talk about emotional depth. But with the holidays upon us, how might this manifest in their family interactions?
Cancers are already the nurturers of the zodiac. This week, with Pluto in their intimacy zone that amplifies, they might be the ones organizing the family gathering, making sure everyone feels loved and heard, but it's also about their own emotional needs.
So they're not just taking care of everyone else, but also paying attention to their own feelings. How can they ensure their needs are met amidst all the holiday chaos?
This is where boundaries come in. Cancer might need to politely decline an extra holiday obligation if it means they get some alone time to recharge. Or they might finally have that honest talk with a family member that's been weighing on their heart, clearing the air for a more genuine connection.
That's great advice for Cancer, finding that balance between giving and receiving. Now on to Leo-Pluto in their partnership zone. We mentioned potential breakups, but are all Leo relationships doomed this week?
Not at all. For Leos in solid, healthy relationships, this Pluto transit can actually be incredibly bonding. They might decide to take their commitment to the next level, have a deep conversation that brings them closer, or simply rediscover a spark they thought was lost.
So it's about purging what's not working to make space for something even better. But with Jupiter in their social sector, are Leos even prioritizing their partnerships amidst all the holiday fun?
That's the balancing act for Leo this week. They might be tempted to say yes to every party invitation, which could leave their partner feeling neglected. It's about conscious choice, making sure their relationship gets quality time amidst the social whirl.
Okay, so quality over quantity in love and in socializing. Now, onto Virgo, self-care is key. But what are some specific ways Virgos can nurture themselves this week amidst the holiday stress?
Virgos often overthink, right? This week, their self-care might involve activities that quiet the mind, meditation, long walks in nature, even organizing their space to create a sense of calm. It's also about setting boundaries with demanding people.
So it's about creating space for themselves, both physically and mentally. But with Jupiter expanding their career sector, won't they be tempted to work through the holidays to get ahead?
That's the Virgo trap. This week, they need to remind themselves that rest is productive. Burnout helps no one. Maybe they schedule specific work hours so they can fully enjoy their downtime or delegate tasks to avoid feeling overwhelmed.
Smart strategies for Virgo. Now on to Libra. Creative expression is highlighted, but what if a Libra doesn't consider themselves artistic? How can they tap into this energy?
Creativity takes many forms. For a Libra, it might be redecorating their home for the holidays with a unique flair, experimenting with new recipes in the kitchen, or even just having more stylish and meaningful conversations with friends. It's about finding beauty and harmony in everyday life.
So it's not just about painting or writing poetry, but about bringing an artistic touch to everything they do. But with Pluto involved, are there any risks to this heightened sensitivity?
Libras are all about balance, but Pluto can tip the scales. They might become overly critical of themselves or their creations, or take criticism from others too, personally. This week, it's about remembering that not everyone will appreciate their unique vision, and that's okay.
It's about staying true to themselves. Now on to Scorpio, deep connection with loved ones sounds ideal. But how can they navigate potentially tricky family dynamics over the holidays?
Scorpios have a knack for seeing beneath the surface. This week, that intensifies. They might sense underlying tensions at a family gathering or have a gut feeling about someone's true motives. It's about trusting their intuition, but also knowing when to keep those observations to themselves.
So it's like they're the emotional detectives of the zodiac this week. But with Jupiter expanding their career sector too, is there a risk of them bringing work stress into their family time?
That's something Scorpio needs to be aware of. They might be tempted to check emails at the dinner table or be preoccupied with work worries even when surrounded by loved ones. This week, it's about consciously creating boundaries, switching off their work brain, and being fully present with their family.
Okay, so full presence is key for Scorpio. Now on to Sagittarius, expressing their truth sounds empowering. But could this lead to some uncomfortable confrontations this week?
Honesty is a Sagittarius hallmark, but Pluto adds an edge. They might feel compelled to call out injustice even at a holiday party, or have a frank conversation with someone who's been getting on their nerves. Diplomacy is key here.
So it's about finding the right time and place to speak their mind rather than just blurting things out. But with Jupiter in their relationship zone too, are they applying this honesty to their love life?
Absolutely. This is a week for having those define the relationship talks, setting clear expectations, or even confessing a long-held crush. But Jupiter can also exaggerate, so Sagittarius needs to avoid making promises they can't keep or coming on too strong.
Good point. Honesty is great, but tempering it with a little tact is key. Now on to Capricorn, financial breakthroughs sound amazing, but how can they manifest those in concrete ways this week?
Capricorns are masters of planning and strategy. This week, they might create a detailed budget research investment opportunities or even launch a side hustle they've been thinking about. It's also about shifting their mindset, believing they are worthy of abundance.
So it's not just about working harder, but about working smarter and believing in their own potential. But with Pluto involved, are there any risks to this ambitious energy?
Pluto can bring obsessiveness. Capricorns might become fixated on making money, neglecting their relationships or well-being in the process. This week, it's about reminding themselves that money is a tool, not the end goal. It's about finding fulfillment in all areas of life.
Great reminder for Capricorn. Now on to Aquarius. Pluto entering their sign is a huge deal, but how might this manifest in their day-to-day life this week?
Aquarius is known for their cool detachment, but Pluto is about depth and intensity. This week, they might experience emotions more intensely, have sudden urges to reinvent their look, or be drawn to explore taboo topics that previously didn't interest them.
So it's like shaking up their usual detached persona and getting more in touch with their raw, authentic self. But with Jupiter expanding their social life too, Are they sharing these new discoveries with everyone?
That's where Aquarius needs to be discerning. Pluto is also about secrets and hidden depths. They might feel called to keep some of these transformations private for now, only sharing them with those they truly trust. It's about honoring their own process.
Okay, so selective sharing is key for Aquarius. And lastly, on to Pisces. Creating a peaceful home sounds lovely, but how can they protect that peace if their family tends to be on the chaotic side?
Pisces are masters of escapism, but this week, that escape needs to be healthy. It might mean creating a designated Zen zone in their home, scheduling alone time for meditation, or a long bath, or even using creative visualization to imagine a peaceful bubble around themselves during family gatherings.
So it's about finding ways to create their own inner sanctuary, even amidst external chaos. But with Jupiter in their career sector too, would they be tempted to withdraw from work to focus on this domestic bliss?
That's the risk for Pisces. They might fantasize about quitting their job to become a full-time homemaker or artist. This week, it's about grounding those dreams in reality. Perhaps they take on a creative side project to test the waters before making any rash decisions.
Okay, so practicality is important for Pisces this week, even amidst their dreamy aspirations. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in part 2, diving deep into each sign's potential and pitfalls.
But there's still more to uncover. In part 3, we'll explore how these weekly transits might interact with each sign's individual birth chart, giving our listeners even more personalized insights.
Welcome back, everyone. We've journeyed through each sign's weekly forecast, exploring the opportunities and challenges these planetary energies are bringing.
But as we all know, astrology is so much more than just your sun sign. To truly understand how this week's transits will affect you personally,
Right.
we need to consider your unique birth chart.
Right. It's like having a cosmic fingerprint. So how can our listeners apply this general forecast to their own individual astrological makeup?
First, think about the houses in your birth chart.
Okay.
These represent different areas of life. For example, if Pluto is transiting your 10th house of career, the themes we discussed for Taurus will be particularly relevant for you regardless of your sun sign.
Okay, so the house placement adds another layer of interpretation. What else should our listeners consider?
Next, look at any planets in your birth chart that are being aspected by the transiting planets this week. Let's say you have Venus in Aries,
Okay.
with Venus and Mars aligning on Thursday.
Yeah.
You'll feel that Aries energy even more strongly, perhaps experiencing a surge of passion or a desire to express yourself creatively.
So even if you're not an Aries sun sign, you could still feel these influences depending on your individual chart. This is where it gets really interesting, right?
Exactly. Astrology is all about understanding the complex interplay of these energies. It's like a cosmic puzzle, and each piece adds to the bigger picture.
It's amazing how personalized it can get. Now, before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they navigate this week's cosmic weather?
Remember, astrology is a tool for self-awareness and growth.
Yes.
Use this information to understand your own patterns, embrace opportunities, and navigate challenges with grace and intention.
Beautifully said. And remember, everyone, these horoscopes are meant to be a guide, not a set of rules. Ultimately, you have the power to choose how you respond to these energies and create your own destiny.
That's so important. We all have free will. Astrology simply helps us understand the currents we're swimming in so we can navigate them more skillfully.
Well, on that empowering note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the week of December 9th through the 15th. Thank you for joining us on this celestial journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring the stars with you all.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Astrology Prediction English podcast for more cosmic insights and guidance.
Until next time, may your days be filled with starlight and wonder.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.